I'd have a hard time if I'm in that scouting room, and obviously I'm not, but if I were there, I'd have a hard time passing up on a receiver because, you see all across the league, these offenses like Philadelphia with AJ Brown and Devontae Smith. Kirk Cousins played great football this year when he was healthy, and they drafted Jordan Addison in the first round last year. You had Jefferson and Addison. You got T. Higgins and Jamar
Yeah.
Chase.
And they
You
willing to
know,
pay him $22 million for a franchise tag. Yeah.
exactly.
And you
So,
got Jamar Chase. Who think
oh
about
yeah,
that. Yeah, 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 yeah.
oh yeah. So like, I kind of look at that and I say, all right, maybe adding another receiver here would be a smart idea, depending on who's on the board, right? Like if Jackson Powers Johnson is on the board, to me, no brainer. You got to take him because he's just that good of a player,
Right.
But if he's off the board by then, like I like Graham Barton, but at the same time, I don't like Graham Barton nearly as much as I like Brian Thomas Jr.
Right.
Brian Thomas Jr. led the country in touchdowns this past season.
Right.
He played alongside a guy that is getting comparisons to CeeDee Lamb and Malik Neighbors.
Right.
So, that style of player works with the type of style of receiver that he is. I think that that's going to fit like a glove. And you look at Brian Thomas, long speed, explosive player, makes plays down the field. I think that that's a guy we need in this offense, in my personal opinion. But I'd be okay with Keon Coleman as well. I think they underutilized him at Florida State.
Florida State. Yeah. When you think of that, you're talking about premium positions, positions that you can get immediate results year one, year two. Any other positions you probably have to develop into, like a quarterback, for example, defensive tackles, and to a degree, tight ends, unless it's that kid from Georgia. If he's there, then you have to really be sweating too at that point. But I would say this, though, the Cowboys with the 24th pick, if it is a wide receiver, just know that you have 5 years with that guy. And like what my guy said in the chat, Rico Jones, BPA, best player available. And only way that if you know for sure that you got like 4 or 5 guys that tags are touching, and you can find that fool, because there's always a fool in the draft that's willing to move up to that 24th spot, and you can collect an extra draft pick in the second or extra draft pick in the third, and you slide back just a little bit, I would do that.
Oh
Only
yeah.
to a degree if tags are touching on multiple guys with your BPA philosophy, and you know that you're missing out on a pick with the 4th round pick, which is your golden pick, by the way. So you can slide back just a little bit, but don't slide out of the first round.
Oh no.
Because here's
Oh, no.
here's how I view the first round. You still got that right for 5 years, the 5th-year option. Even if Michael Parsons want to bark and moan about, playing or what have you, we still hold his rights for 5 years, because of that option. So that's why it's such a valuable spot to maintain a first-round draft pick. But if you see somebody that your tags are touching, slide back to the 26th or the 27th pick and still get your guy and scoop up an extra draft pick, shoot, or a swap in a second to go
Oh,
back in and get a Trevontae Sweat. Can you imagine we get Powers and Sweat?
oh yeah. Oh
Oh
yeah.
my God, that's our
Oh yeah.
interior. I'm building from the interior or the inside out. I can
Oh
go
yeah.
find another wide receiver somewhere.
Hey, yeah, no doubt about it. Yeah, no doubt about it. But man, I just think about
Yeah,
that
that
number
dynamic.
2 guy with CeeDee Lamb, and especially because, like we talked about earlier, to me, they're a one-dimensional offense until they're not, right?
Right.
Like until they prove to me that they can be more efficient running the football, then to me, I'm looking at this and I'm saying, like, obviously address that aspect of your
Mhm.
offense. Like obviously draft a running back in the draft, make sure that you sign a guy, and obviously the offensive line's always a priority, but like, man, like if I can add, like some people in the chat are talking about Troy Franklin from Oregon, really
Right.
like him as well. Leggett from South Carolina, very
Yeah, yeah,
high
yeah.
upside guy. I'm for all that.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
really am. And you know, um, is it like, do we need a receiver? Now we
Yeah.
don't need a
Yeah,
receiver.
no. We look. It's a. All right. Who's our true number 2 wide receiver right now?
Yeah, true. No, it's a fair point. Yeah, no doubt about it.
We got one number 1, true number 1, and that's CD Lamb. And I mean, there's no shade at Tolbert, no shade at Brandon Cooks, no shade at Gallup, and all of those boys. Everybody's like number 3. Everybody
Hey.
outside of CD Lamb, you got ones, and then you got like 3, 4 threes on your teams. We don't even have a true number 2 wide receiver, in my opinion. By the way.
Yeah, no, I agree. And man, like, look, I don't like Cooks as a number 2 wide receiver. I really like him as a number 3 wide receiver if you have a
Facts.
legit number 2 playing alongside him.